Shalom Yasharala, Koholoyim La, Allah Hayina Wa, Wahawad La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Wamalak Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Wahakudash Recall. All praises to our power and glory to Yahweh in the name Yahushai, in the name and the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone that rule well, still teach well. Peace salutations to the hopeful elect, which are your Akim and your Fiak Wafyam. The Most High's name is Yahweh. Yahweh means he exists. All right. His only begotten son's name is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. He only died for the Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and so-called Native Americans. Including the Israelite foreigners, we make up the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, back here again with another lesson, a digital epistle, basically to speak about how we are basically in the worst captivity ever. We are in the worst captivity. And I know that inside this truth that we're in, brothers can really find it hard, working for these Edomites, or just not even just working for them, just being around them is a very, frustrating situation to be in. And I just want to get the first precept, which is going to be in the book of Ecclesiastes. And basically, this precept describes the situation that we are currently in. And I'm going to get Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. And it reads, it says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. So all this oppression that we see, all right, Lord willing, with those wise men, is making us mad. We're seeing our people bugged out. We're seeing transgenderism. We're seeing, all this wickedness on the earth, our people joining gangs. We're seeing all this evil that's happening on the planet. And with all this wisdom that we have, it's making us mad. It's making us frustrated with all that's going on, because we know that, everything that we see, talking about the earth, was made for our sakes. But here we today in captivity, seeing heathens ruling over us and enjoying the benefits of this world, which is temporary. So it's not really much of a problem, because we're not in this condition for all eternity. So yeah, going to what Ezra said, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 57. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathens, who are the heathens? The so-called white man, the so-called Chinese, the so-called Japanese, the so-called Sudanese, the so-called Somalians, right? Which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. And that's what, what's happening right now. They've begun to be lords over us. They own these corporations. They own these institutions where you are basically a systematic slave to their system. All right. When it comes to companies like let's say retail, or even IT, or just any kind of institution, Esau is the one that is backed up behind these specific institutions, including Ammon and Moab and all these heathens that are reputed nothing. They're becoming lords over us, and they're devouring us. And how are they devouring us? By putting drugs in the neighborhood, by making sure that our people do not realize their true identity, which is being Israelites. They're not being taught the truth, so they're devouring our people. Verse 58, but we thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy favored lover, are given into their hands. And that's today inside society right now. We're given into the hands of these pasty, detestable, unholy Edomites, including the heathens. All right, so everything right now, as you can see, the circumstances look very, very disorganized. And our people are very comfortable with living a mediocre lifestyle where Esau is just ruling them and ruling over them and telling them what to do. But nah, the hopeful elect is against this demonic and satanic system, man. All right. And, we're not settling for less. All right. If you want to live this lifestyle of letting Edomites tell you what to do, to hell with that, man. To hell with that. We want the kingdom of heaven to be established, man. And the angels can't wait for this kingdom to be established. That's the reason why you see that the angels hovering to and fro, because they can't wait for the Lord to give them the go ahead to start laser beaming, man. But anyways, let me get Luke chapter 16. Let's start verse 19. There was a certain rich man, and that certain rich man is Esau, the so-called white man, right? Which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fed sumptuously every day. And Esau's faring sumptuously every day. You got this guy called Bill Gates. He's making $1,000 a minute. All right. You got Mark Zuckerberg. These are just low-level Edomites. You have actual Edomites that are making, they're quadrillionaires or even trillionaires. Right? You have the Rothschilds family, the Rockefellers. They own gold, silver, mineral resources, different kind of things. Hedge funds. They own all these different institutions where they fare sumptuously every single day. They own Microsoft. They have Apple. They have Netflix. They have all these different things. This is them faring sumptuously. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus. We are Lazarus. Lazarus represents us. We are Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, because we are basically in a situation where we are what's the right word? We're basically in a terrible predicament systematically. And the reason why I say terrible predicament systematically, I mean, look at how our people are just dispersed. Look at, Jake is scattered in the Americas, Jake is scattered in the West Indies, Jake is in West Africa, Jake is in Europe. We're all scattered everywhere. And this scattering that has also happened is also a sign that Israel as a nation is um, very, very divided in the sense of, you know, what's the right word? Israel is very, very divided right now. So even the fact of even among the 2/3, you have Jake in, let's say for instance, Jake in America looks down on Jake in West Africa. Jake in West Africa looks down on Jake in America. Jake in Jamaica looks down on Jake in West Africa. Jake in West Africa look down on Jake in America. All this like back and forth and clashing. So the Lord has to deal with an elect because, you know, these stupid cultures, which really they're putting our people inside a canned box. American, all right, Jamaican, African, all these cans, the Edomites are just putting you inside a little can box to keep your mind unconcerned with what's going on because they're indoctrinating you. Their doctrines of devils. But yeah, we it says full of sores. So we are basically in a situation where our people are exploited. We're full of sores. We have, you know, some of us have, Edomite surnames on our names. We're full of sores, man, because you can see that our people are destroyed. They indoctrinated with the Catholic, Pentecostal, all these different stupid religions that the Edomites have infected our people with, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs are the heathens, the Arabs, the so-called Chinese, the so-called Japanese, the so-called East Indians, right? These are the dogs, right? Came and licked their swords. And notice how the Bible refers to the heathens as dogs. That's why that woman that tried to speak to our Lord Yahweh Shai, she acknowledged that she was a dog. You see? Verse 22, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And this is the transitioning of what's going to happen, where Esau's system is going to die and Jacob's system is going to come to life. All right? The tables are going to turn. All right? The beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, and the rich man also died and was buried. Yeah, because Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right? So Luke 16 and 23. And in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. Right? Because why is he going to be in torments? Because you're going to have the elect putting Esau in captivity. Esau is going to be catching hell in the kingdom of heaven. Esau's destiny, according to the Bible, is to be a slave. Now, does he want to be a slave? Of course, he does not want to be a slave, but he's going to be. You know, do we want to go through the transatlantic slave trade? No, but we went through it. So when it's their turn to go through it, they're gonna have to go through it. So this is Revelation chapter. Now let me get Psalms real quick. This is Psalms chapter 148. Let's start at verse. No, let's start 149. Verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hands. So the elect are going to have a two-edged sword in their hands, literally, not figuratively, literally, to execute vengeance upon the heathen. You see, revenge. Now we know vengeance is the Lord's, but if you're, joint heirs with Yahweh Hashem Shai, the Lord is going to have you to beat in pieces many people, according to Micah 4 and 13. Right? So to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. So these people are going to be punished for their wicked deeds. To bind their kings with chains, right? That's their nobilities. Their nobility, the international banking families, the Arabian princes, all these different nobilities of the heathens, they're going to be put into chains. And their nobles with fetters of iron. You see? Verse 9, to execute upon them, all right, the judgment written. This honor have all his saints, praise ye Abba Shemi Al Shai. And what's the judgment written? The judgment is this written is Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Esau led us into captivity. So according to the Bible, he's going to go. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And this prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet. Revelation 13 and 10 has not been fulfilled, but it's soon going to be fulfilled. All right? It's soon going to come to pass. And yeah, we are definitely in the worst captivity ever. It's frustrating. You have, so much just wickedness going on the earth. But, we're prisoners of hope. That's what the Bible, calls the hopeful elect. Prisoners of hope. All right. And hope is very handy in these latter days because hope can help us. So let's get Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. Zechariah 9 and 12 says, turn you to the strongholds, ye prisoners of hope, even to the day do I declare that I render double unto thee. You see? So we are called the prisoners of hope because we're hoping to be part of the elect. Our mindset is just like, Lord willing, I'm part of the elect. Lord willing, I'm part of the elect. Lord willing, I'm part of the elect. Because, like, everything else is just vanity. And I'm gonna make a no. I could make a video talking about women right now, but I'll just stick to the point where we are in the worst captivity ever. And yeah, we need deliverance, man. And the Lord is going to deliver his elect speedily. All right. Let me get that in I believe it's the book of Luke. So bear with me. Okay, so it's Luke 18 and 7. Let's get it. So Luke chapter 18 and verse 7. It reads, and shall not the heavenly Father avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? And the elect are crying day and night, saying, Abad Babal, Shalak Rayam La Babal, right? Crying to the Lord. And sometimes it might not even be you just saying, I hope the Lord destroys this place. Sometimes your mind will just be thinking, I hope Yahweh Hashem Shai destroys this wicked place, man. You're just pissed off with people around, man. It says, verse 8, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? You see? So he's going to avenge his elect quickly. We're not going to be here for a long period of time. Those that are having plans and thinking that this system is going to carry on forever, they have an Edomite mindset. Our people have a mindset, designed of an Edomite. Because this is what the Edomites are thinking in Psalm chapter 149, and I believe it's verse 11. Their inward thoughts, what's the inward thought? Your mind. The mind of these Edomites. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. So inside their mind, they believe that this society is going to carry on for all eternity. They don't believe that, this thing is going to go. So it's not going to continue forever because, you know, the script was designed where Jacob would be a ruler. So if the script was designed that Jacob to be a ruler, Esau can't rule forever. And also, when there's iniquity in a land, that land spews the person out, spews that biblical nation out. So Esau's system, the way it's designed, the earth is going to have to spew Esau out using the missiles and the smoke ascending to the atmosphere being the spits. But yeah, the inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Why do they call their lands after their own names? America goes back to an Edomite, Amerigo Vespucci. Africa goes back to an Edomite, called Leo Scipius Africanus. So they call their lands after their own names. All right, but then when you read this precept and you start from the beginning of the precept saying their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, that's the mindset that 2/3 of our people have right now. They believe that this place is going to continue forever. They don't believe in Yahweh Shemiel Shai. They don't believe in the kingdom of heaven. Their mindset is stuck on this world. And that's the reason why the Most High is going to surprise a lot of people. The Lord created this show where a lot of people are going to be, surprised. All right? The Lord is going to surprise a lot of people. And let's get it. The Lord is going to surprise a lot of people. Let's get it. All right, so let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. And it reads, says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So when they say peace and safety, meaning that, everything's going to be fine. Russia and Ukraine, the war's kind of there, but I think it's going to cool down. Everything's going to be fine. As soon as they say that, the Lord immediately is going to bring sudden destruction. But every single prophecy has dates and time that is going to play out. And before we can have the third woe, the third, woe, meaning World War III, before World War III happens, you have to have the mark of the beast to come out first. Esau is gonna make his system cashless before you now have the third woe. You ain't gonna have just the third woe. Nah, it's gonna be the mark of the beast. Then it's gonna be World War III. All right, everything. But then you have Jacob's trouble too, which is another event, which is gonna happen. All right, because the Lord is gonna have to cut off 2/3 of His own people. So you're gonna have a lot of our people that are gonna be cut off. 2/3 is majority of our people. But anyways, I hope this video of basically saying how we are in our worst captivity was edifying. Hope to see you on the next lesson. Shalom.